Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been tied together for years now, and at this point it feels like that connection is going to follow both of them for the rest of their careers. A lot of it traces back to the college rivalry and the infamous taunting that helped turn the matchup into something much bigger than a normal basketball storyline. The difference, at least from my perspective, is that Clark has continued developing into one of the biggest names in the WNBA, has legitimate MVP-level production, and has become one of the league's most recognizable faces. Reese, meanwhile, has built her reputation much more heavily around rebounding, where she currently leads the league while also producing an almost unbelievable collection of missed shots right around the basket. And last night, somehow, the entire rivalry found another perfect moment, when Reese missed what could have been the go-ahead game-winning layup against none other than Clark and the Indiana Fever. When you slow down the sequence afterward, Clark can be seen walking away at the end of regulation, appearing to laugh, while Reese is behind her following that miss. That blown opportunity eventually helped send the game into overtime, where Indiana came away with a 95-91 victory. It marked the Fever's fourth consecutive win and pushed them to 23-12, which at the time gave them the fourth-best record in the WNBA. And here is another layer that makes the whole situation even more interesting. If the postseason began right now, Indiana would host Reese and the Atlanta Dream in the opening round. Now, to give Reese credit where it is deserved, she absolutely delivered in the area that has become her greatest strength. She grabbed 14 rebounds, continued leading the WNBA on the glass, and has reached the point where people are already discussing her as potentially one of the greatest rebounders the league has ever seen. But unfortunately for her, that is only half the conversation, because the shooting around the rim once again became impossible to ignore. Reese finished with 15 points, but she needed 16 field goal attempts to get there, and made only 5 of them, 5 for 16. And so many of those misses came from extremely close range, with layups bouncing off the rim missing badly, or failing to connect in ways that made each possession more surprising than the one before it. Eventually, all of that built toward the biggest miss of the night, the point-blank opportunity that could have changed the game late in regulation. And making the contrast even more painful for Reese was the performance Clark delivered on the other side. Clark scored 26 points and handed out 9 assists for Indiana, while she and fellow MVP candidate Kelsey Mitchell carried a huge portion of the Fever offense throughout regulation and into overtime. Remember, this game was tied 81-81 after 4 quarters. Indiana entered with the 10th best net rating among the WNBA's 15 teams, yet the Fever limited Atlanta to only 81 points through regulation and 91 overall even with the extra period. The Dream shot just 35% from the floor, and Reese's struggles around the basket were obviously part of that inefficient offensive night. And I have to say, there are stretches of this league that become genuinely unbelievable to watch. Sometimes you are looking at professional athletes missing shots from distances where you almost assume the ball has to go in, and then somehow it does not. That is part of what makes these sequences so entertaining from a pure spectacle standpoint. Earlier I mentioned Kelsey Mitchell, and she deserves far more attention because she is putting together an outstanding season of her own. Yes, everybody knows Aja Wilson is going to be right in the middle of the MVP conversation again, and she has already constructed the type of career that makes a legitimate greatest player ever argument possible. But Mitchell has absolutely forced herself into that next tier of candidates. She is playing like a top 3 to 5 MVP contender across the league, and she scored another 20 points against Atlanta. More importantly, that performance extended her streak to 19 consecutive games with at least 20 points, establishing an all-time WNBA record. 19 straight games. That is the number. You do not need to check your television, your computer, or your phone. Mitchell has now reached 20 points in 19 consecutive contests, which is the longest such streak in league history. And when you compare that consistency with some of the offensive possessions we are watching elsewhere, especially the endless collection of missed layups that keep appearing in Reese highlights, 20 points every single night starts looking even more impressive. Which brings us right back to Reese, because I am once again renewing the ridiculous challenge I have been talking about on social media. I genuinely believe I could beat Angel Reese one-on-one. Not sneak out a lucky win. I mean beat her decisively. I am in my 40s. My job is basically talking about basketball on the internet. I have not seriously touched a basketball in somewhere around 7 to 10 years, to the point that I honestly could not even tell you exactly when I last played. But give me 4 weeks, 1 full month to train and get myself back into reasonable basketball condition, and I believe I could win a one-on-one game against Reese. I do not even think she would score. If we played to 11, my prediction would be 11-0. So Angel, the challenge remains open. Accept it, and everybody watching this right now can actually help put pressure on this idea until it reaches her. Like the video, share it, leave comments, send the clip around, whatever you have to do, because the only way something this absurd ever becomes real is if enough people see it that eventually Reese or someone around her hears about it. I have issued this challenge 3 or 4 different times now, so this is not some random thought I came up with 5 minutes ago. And I will even attach consequences to it. If Reese beats me, I will publish a full apology and retraction directed toward her and the women of the WNBA. Beyond that, I will make it an ongoing commitment on this channel to produce at least 1 or 2 videos every month speaking positively about the WNBA for as long as this channel exists. That is what I am willing to put on the table if she wins. The problem for her is that I do not believe that outcome is remotely realistic. In my mind, there is no way she beats me. So Angel, if money is the issue, name the number. We can establish a wager publicly through social media. Let your people contact my people and figure out the details from there. The only condition I am asking for is 4 weeks of advance notice, so I can train. That is it. Reese gets paid to play basketball professionally throughout the year, and following her off-season raise, she is now earning more than $200,000 annually. Meanwhile, I have not played meaningful basketball in years, and I am still prepared to wager whatever reasonable amount she wants, because I believe she cannot beat me one-on-one. So once again, Angel Reese, the challenge is waiting. And to everybody who watched all the way to this point, thank you. While I am already asking for favors, make sure you are subscribed as well. We recently crossed 100,000 subscribers, and now the next ridiculous target is 1 million. Help push the channel toward that number, turn on notifications, and stay connected for everything we cover across the NBA, WNBA, NFL, and the rest of the sports world. Until next time.